Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you all back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about something very important. As many of y'all know, the election in America just happened just a few weeks ago. It's been kind of crazy, but there's one thing I really want to point out to everyone that I think a lot of Christians have forgotten about. As you can tell behind me, I have a Christian flag above American flag. Now, there's people in this country who are going to say that you shouldn't do that. Nothing should be above the American flag. You should take it down, switch it over. You know, and I'm perfectly fine with you having a Christian flag. Just don't put it over the American flag. Well, my opinion is there should be nothing above the Christian flag. Because the most important thing is God is above everything. And a lot of Christians in America have forgotten about this. I know with the elections, you know, everything happening in America right now, you know, trying to figure out with the electoral votes who really won. You know, the news already declared Biden won and everything else like that. But leading up to the election, so many Christians put their faith in one of the presidents saying, you know, they're going to fix everything. You know, everything's going to get taken care of. If Trump stays reelected and stays our president, you know, everything's going to be good. But if Biden wins and stuff, everything's going to be better for us and everything else like that. The truth is, so many Christians in America have put something above God who thinks it's going to be better for them. And right now, it's politicians. Right now, it's the government. Everybody thinks that the government's going to, you know, help us out. Christians, too. I mean, it's just nationwide. Everybody thinks the government is going to help us out in some way. So many Christians have just put their faith and trust in the government above God. When it comes down to it, God is the one who's going to protect us. God is the one who is faithful to us. The government's not all that protective and faithful to us. Now, are they? No, it's been truth. Everything switches. They switch. You know, the Republican Party switches from this to this. The Democratic Party switches from this to that and everything else like that. But when it comes down to it, God doesn't change. God is the same then, now, and in the future. God will never change. His promises still stand. But so many of us have wanted to go and put our faith in the government and, you know, the doctors, this, that, and everything else like that. But so many of us have forgotten just to truly just put our whole faith, our whole heart and soul into God. And even though, you know, we're going through everything right now in our country with the government, you know, election, the virus, and all that stuff, you know, God is still in control. God has not lost control of anything. Okay? If Trump is to stay reelected, that is God's choice. If Biden is to win, that's God's choice. Neither one of these two have power unless God gives them the power. So I just want to, you know, lay this out to all Christians and also non-Christians too. You know, we need to put our faith back in God as a country in whole. Okay? This country is moving farther and farther away from God, thinking that we don't need God, when the truth is we desperately need God as a country. Okay? This country will not survive without God. Everything needs to be directed from Him to us. We need to live the way He wants us to. But everything keeps changing, and everybody thinks that, you know, every 4 years, as long as everything keeps changing, it's A-okay. But it's not. I mean, even after the election, everybody thought everything was going to be okay. It's not okay. Look how bad everything still is. Nothing has changed. But God doesn't change, though. God still wants to promise us eternal life as long as we put our faith and trust in His Son, Jesus Christ. Even though that happened 2 years ago, 2,000 years later, still today, that promise still stands. God is still waiting for many of you who are non-Christians to answer that call. God's still waiting for many of you who call yourself Christians to come back to Him, who have faded away from Him. God is still waiting with open arms for all of us. Okay? God could have, you know, after the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, could have called it then. No, He is waiting for us now. He's waiting for us for so long, and His promises are still going to stand. The promises of the politicians, the doctors, and everything else like that, they're always going to change. But God's promises will never change, and they will always stay the same. So I just want to throw this out there for y'all. Please put your faith back in God as a country. Please, this is the only way for this country to survive. This country has gotten too far away from God, and we see the outcome of that. So much protest, abortions, murder, everybody trying to blame this person, and this person trying to blame this person. We don't need to be doing this as a country. Everybody calls for unity. The only way we get unity is from God. Everybody calls for change. The only way we get change is when God changes our heart, when we accept His Son, Jesus Christ. So please, I just wanted to let y'all know this, that God is still the same. He hasn't changed, and His promises are still the same, and they're still there. God is waiting for y'all with open arms. Thank y'all, and have a great night.